The regular part of the game has ended, and you have reached Extra Innings. I'm Mike Shepard, your host, and this is the Extra Inning Podcast. Good evening, and welcome to Minority Baseball Prospects as we present the Extra Innings Podcast, the biggest podcast in minority baseball across the nation. You are locked in, listening in to the biggest, baddest, and the bestest. We're going to do it much better than the rest of this. I'm so excited about tonight's show. Tonight, we have an all-star lineup. First of all, let's bring our cast on. We're joined by a founder of Minority Baseball Prospects and minorityprospects.com, Alex White. Coach Dez is in the building with us today. Coach Dez, check in, baby. What's up? Hey, can we get a drum roll from everybody in here? Because tonight we are turning it up super high, super fantastic. We got the All-American himself, just recently drafted 2025. Y'all put your hands together for RJ Austin.
Yes, sir.
In the building. What's up, RJ? Welcome to the show.
Appreciate y'all for sure.
Oh, yeah, such a pleasure to have you. It's episode 2, Alex Dez. We had a great episode to start it off. Kick this thing into full gear, let everybody know what we're going to be doing. And as promised, we are delivering right now with the superstar. Alex, tell them who we have on with us today.
Man, we have one of our originals, man, RJ Austin, recently drafted by the Baltimore Orioles, Vandy product, SEC, one of our best players to ever come through the MVP pipeline. One of our first All-Americans, man, and Mobile, man, came out to Mobile in the heart of COVID on the rock with him. Man, I remember, RJ, when your mom called me, and I was inviting you in tomorrow. She said, "Hey, man, can you, CC Sabathia?" And then when we got CC Sabathia on there, man. So shout out to your mom, man. She doggone put on for the city. And she, the Bathia family ended up being your agent, man. So that's even cooler, right, man. But we got RJ Austin, man, one of the best players in the country, man.
I'm stamping it, Alex. He's on our Mount Rushmore.
On our Mount Rushmore, man.
We haven't made it yet, but RJ, we're proud of you, man. We saw it from day one. You definitely are stamped as one of our Mount Rushmores for minority prospects for sure.
Well, I got to jump right in on certifying this one as well. RJ had an opportunity to take a look at your 2025 Vanderbilt highlights after I received the information and the highlight reels from your time as a high schooler in minority baseball prospects, and then to watch that phenomenal year that you had in 2025 to end your campaign at Vanderbilt as a Commodore. And I mean, when I tell you, it is probably I know it's for me, it is the best baseball highlight reel I have ever watched. The best baseball highlight reel I've ever watched. The number of multiple base hits, the defense, just incredible.
Gold Glover, baby.
Gold Glover. And he's on the show with us today. RJ, again, thank you for coming in. We're gonna put you on to the test right now, and we're happy to have what we consider to be your first really professional podcast appearance. Since being drafted, you on here with the #1 team right now. Alex, I'm gonna throw that first question over to you. You lay it on him and see what he has to tell you.
We going right here, RJ, man. We're gonna you got to choose between these two little things right here. It is gonna get a little difficult, man, but you got to say what it is. Somebody might be mad at
on the line.
Hey, you hear what I mean? But it is what it is. I'm gonna start out with you. Tamar or KJ White?
Yeah, gotta go with Tamar, just because that's who I met first, and I grew up with him first, so gotta go with Tamar. With love with KJ for sure.
Lawrence Butler or Micah Harris?
I gotta go with Law. Him and Miles, my cousin, I grew up with all them, so sure. I gotta go with Law. Yeah.
Man, shout out to Law, man. You should have came to Rita and you and Miles, man. But it is.
Hey, we need y'all on here.
Yeah,
we definitely want to see y'all on the show.
I did,
all you guys, especially my dog Law. You got to get on here, man.
Yeah. Mark Church or Xavier Curry?
I gotta go with Zay, just because my dad coached him too. He went to Mays. I was at all the games, practices with him, so I gotta go with Zay.
I'm gonna go Vanderbilt or Pace Academy.
I gotta go Vanderbilt. Just because, like, the pedestal I was put on at Vanderbilt once I got there, and like the expectations I was held to, which is a high standard, and it changed my life for the better. So I gotta go with Vanderbilt.
For sure.
I gotta take the last one.
Hold on, last one. Go ahead. Now go ahead.
Yeah, I gotta take the last one.
We got time for a couple of them, so go ahead, Dan.
Okay. American Deli in Atlanta or Germantown Pub in Nashville.
Deli is not even close.
It's not even
close.
I try to get Alex on that deli, man.
Make mine lemon pepper hot, baby. Lemon pepper hot.
All right, now give us your American Deli order.
I go 15-piece, mild lemon pepper sprinkles, 3 mixed drink. Like, just that simple.
3 mixed drink. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, fruit punch. You got the peach, you got the lemonade.
You put it all together.
It's overly fine. Yeah.
I had to throw that in Ro Coleman, man. You know, he done put me on the doggone Germantown, man. You know, I had to
tell him all the time.
I had to put a Nashville, you know, I guess, and you know what I mean?
And see, I was gonna ask him, I was gonna say, RJ, is it Taco Tuesday or Fresh Fish Friday?
Fresh Fish Friday.
That's right. That's right. Ain't nothing better than some fresh fish.
Hey, you like some fish from JJ's?
Oh, yes.
That's supposed
like
to go.
JJ. There's only one JJ is one on Wesley Chapel, baby. Ain't nothing like that one on Wesley Chapel, man. Don't be
beg to differ.
Please
I beg to differ. I'm from the south side. I'm from the south side, baby. I gotta say the one on Old Nat. Old Nat L.
I gotta go to 114 Industrial.
Drop it like it's hot. Now, RJ, we you know, everything is always fun and huge thrill for everybody in the program. When your name was called in the 2025 draft, we all knew that it was coming. You know, the expectations very, very high. What was that feeling when that draft started and you were waiting on your name to be called?
So I kind of knew, like, before the draft, like what teams wanted me the most. I knew the Orioles was like they were my top, like, going into the draft. Like, I kind of knew I was going to the Orioles, and they had a lot of picks that first day, so kind of knew that was gonna happen for me. And we knew, like, second or third round was the pretty much the options for me. So I didn't watch the first round at all. I didn't watch, like, the first half of the second round until they got to the Orioles pick. But I was playing video games the whole time, waiting on the draft. Like, till it got closer to when I thought I was gonna go. I was playing video games with KJ the whole time, pretty much. But I had my family, my friends, you know, all really there with me. We had a hotel room, whatever. We had food and stuff like that, music playing. So it was cool. I was just trying to chill. It was definitely super nervous because, you know, I was scared that I wasn't gonna get picked the first day. But back in my mind, I always knew I was. But, you know, you never know what's gonna happen. But when the Orioles called, I was sitting there waiting, and I was like, the Orioles pick coming up, and they say last pick of the first day. So I was like, this got to be the one. Then I got a call from my agent, and she said, do you like crab cakes? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, I mean, getting that call and, being an Oriole, it was a blessing, and just have my whole family there. And there's a video on my Instagram. Like, you go to the end of the whole video. Like, my dad, when I got drafted, he was like popping the champagne, and he poured it all down my back when he was hugging me.
That's right.
Yeah.
Lovely.
You know, your dad dream of that day, man. That's big. Just to see the hard work, man. Let's go into that family legacy. Your dad played SC base football, and then made it to NFL. And then you got Uncle Joe Austin, man. You got Jay Austin, man. The pedigree in your family, man. Tell us about how that helped mold you into, I got to say, now you the best character guy out of all of them now, but how did it help mold you into who you are today, man? With your dad going to the NFL and to, the big pedigree of Jay Austin and your uncle, who really helped, man, this whole black movement in Atlanta, man, and changing everybody.
Yeah, so I just was blessed with having a family that, love baseball and love sports. Obviously, my dad played for Chicago Bears for 3 years in the NFL. So, he always taught me that work ethic growing up. Because when I was 4 years old, I told him I wanted to be an MLB. And I wanted to be just like him, like, make it professional, get drafted, play professional baseball. I wanted to play football growing up, too. But when I got older, my dad kind of, told me that baseball was the one for me. And because he could tell I was much better at it. I was more focused at it. But, just learning from every day and learning to drive from him, and just, doing that kind of, helped me to where I am today. And then my mom, obviously, she was always there to support my dad. So she was there to support me too, because I wanted the same dream, and she knew what it kind of took to get there also. So shout out to my mom also. And Joe, he like you said, like he molded everybody in Atlanta pretty much. Like you got Tamar,
Yeah.
Mark, Law,
Yeah.
like all them boys.
Movement of Atlanta.
Yeah, he really got us right growing up. So he always had me at the baseball field when I was, everybody was like 4 or 5 years older than me. But I was always there practicing with them because I wanted to be in the MLB, so I knew what it took to get there, and I wanted to see older people do it and try to do it the right way. And obviously, like you said, Jay, he was with the Astros. He was legit one of the best athletes to come out of Georgia, but a lot of people don't know
Jay
about
was
him.
pretty good.
Yeah.
I was about to
Yeah.
say, let's give him some credit. Jay
Yeah.
was pretty
Can't just
good.
gloss over that one.
Yeah, they were good, man.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah. The
Jay
truth.
was good, and I went to his games too when he was in Double A and stuff like that. I remember going up to Augusta to watch him when I was really really young. But watching him when I was young, that kind of helped me out. And Miles Austin was also he was also a hell of an athlete too.
For sure.
And I remember growing up going to all those practices with him and Joe, just watching him hit all the time and kind of mimicking what he's doing. That's kind of helped me get to where I'm at today. So obviously, got to thank all my family members for that for sure.
Yeah. Heck of a
What's some of the best advice that you've gotten during this transition from being a collegiate athlete to a professional athlete?
Just control the controllables. I feel like the biggest thing in baseball people kind of focus on is the results, but you can't control the results of the game just because you can work hard at anybody on the field, anybody out there, but some days that's just not gonna be your day. So I had to learn that. At Vanderbilt, I learned that. I went through some struggle offensively at the middle of the season, but kind of got over that towards the end, and towards pro ball that kind of helped me really mold into the player that I know I am gonna be and the player I will be. So it's one of those things where just control the controllables and controlling my work ethic, and I can't really be mad about hitting to a couple barriers that get out and stuff like that. So I just got to play my game and control the controllables. So that's the biggest thing I probably learned going to professional baseball.
Yeah, Dez got a high level guy, man. Maceo White, who just committed to Vandy. Shoot, I'm finna go down tomorrow to one of the best players in the country, Keon Johnson. He's signing tomorrow to Vandy from my hometown, like my son from Macon, Georgia, man. Shout out to Keon. I'll see you tomorrow, man. But let's talk about when we have players. We do our All American games. We deal with over 10,000 kids, getting into that transition from high school to pro ball or college. And again, you was our MVP for our MVP high school showdown, at Pace High School. Can you tell us, you had a great high school career, right? What made you say I'm gonna go to Vandy instead of, because you could have got drafted out of high school, right? Tamar got drafted out of high school, which was one of your best friends. He went, first round. A lot of our All-Americans that you had that first year Mobile got a chance to go, in that draft. What made you say, hey, I'm gonna take the college route and get a little bit more experience?
So for me, it was kind of three things. The first thing was academics. First of all, just because I went to Pace, like you said, I went to Pace. I went to Grady my freshman year. Then my parents ended up pulling me out of that school and transferring me to Pace Academy, just because academically that challenged me way more. Because I was, I know I want to go to SEC baseball, and to compete in the classroom, I got to go to a better school. So going to Pace kind of helped me out with that. So Vanderbilt's resume of having great academics, that kind of stuck with me, and that was a big yes for my family, because my dad went to Wake Forest, so he went to a great school too. So it was like I wanted to kind of follow that footstep and challenge myself in an academic standpoint. And second, I wasn't the top five guy in the class, but I was pretty high in the class. But it's one of those things where I wasn't peaked out yet. Like I had so much more to tap into going to college. Just because my body, I was about like 175 pounds, 175 pounds. Um, I was fast, but I didn't know how to steal bases.
Yeah.
Defensively, I played shortstop, but like I wasn't really like great at it. Then I got to college and I learned how to really become a utility baseball player, which is gonna help me when I get to professional baseball, be able to be in any lineup, be on any team. And the third thing was I wanted to, build relationships at Vanderbilt. And the development that Corbin, the past that he had, it was just, I couldn't say no to it just because he got so many guys from college to get to the big leagues. Austin Marr, Kumar Rocker, all them guys really get to the big leagues. And his resume is crazy. So it's like, I wanted to go to college and win and play meaningful games in the SEC. So I was like going to Vanderbilt. That was a no-brainer because I remember I went to the draft combine out of high school. Then I had one meeting with the Astros, and I was like, yeah, I'm not doing pro ball just because I'm not ready yet. I want to grow mentally and physically. I can become a better player. So then me going to college, going to the combine this past year, I met with like 25 teams. So it's like going from 1 to 25, it just shows you how, crazy and full circle that came, and I made the right decision. But I kind of knew that out of high school that, going to college was going to help me a lot.
So the proof was definitely in the pudding for you with the Vanderbilt track record and things of that nature. So that kind of leads to my next question. Can you discuss with our viewers and the guys that's watching this, how did Vanderbilt challenge you mentally and physically? Like, what was like the daily expectations? Like, what was the Vanderbilt experience really like?
Corbin is like the saving, for people that's not baseball people. Corbin is like the saving of baseball. You know what I mean? Like you said, with the track record, with winning, with players that have been successful. So like Dad says, tell us about, your experience and like you say, the day-to-day of being in the SEC.
Right.
Yeah. So when I first talked to him, what kind of separated Vanderbilt from everybody else was I called Corbs the first day, told him all my family members' name, all that stuff. The next time we got on the phone, he asked about every single family member from my brother, my dad, my mom, my auntie, my cousins. Like, he asked everybody, he remembered all their names. So I thought that was the greatest thing ever. And that really made me feel at home when he was doing that. And also, he told me I didn't have a guaranteed spot. So like, I wanted that challenge. Because every other school is kind of telling me, yeah, you're gonna play, you're in a two-way, this and that. Like, I knew I was good pitching, but I didn't think I was, that crazy of that. Like in high school, like you don't prove as much as like for college or whatever. So him telling me that, hey, like, you're a really good player high school, but you got to prove yourself here too. So I wanted that challenge. So when I first got to campus, I got there early in the summer because I wanted to be ahead of all the other guys that were coming in as freshmen. I was the only person there my freshman year, there early. So, I really took that time to get stronger. I gained about 15 pounds just from coming up early in that summer. So I was already ahead of everybody that came, when the school year started. And every day we had morning conditioning at 6 a.m. We have morning lifts at 6 a.m. pretty much every day. I know other schools have like weekends off. We never had weekends off. We come in early on like Sundays. He'll have us come in and take ground balls just to make sure we're not going out and stuff like that. But doing that every day, then just the competitive drive I have, I always want to do extra, no matter, like, Vanderbilt's a place where you do extra so much that I wanted to do above that extra, that the expectation and standard that we were held to at Vanderbilt. So I feel like me having that competitive drive to want to do better than everybody else kind of helped me. And Vanderbilt as a whole, like staff, all the whole school, everything challenged me academically too. Like, I was being challenged, but I was able to come out and, be dean's list student every semester. So it was one of those things where I kind of knew Vanderbilt was a place for me.
So I'll say this, in this era or this new landscape of NIL and the ability to transfer in the transfer portal, how does a young kid embrace competition the way you did? You like you said, you wanted to compete, you wanted to prove yourself. How do these kids embrace competition rather than, okay, if I'm not playing, I'll just transfer?
Yeah, so for me, we didn't have NIL my freshman. Like going into my freshman year, we didn't have NIL, so there was no money being negotiated. So when I first got there, I had NILs like from like separate. That was like Atlanta based NILs, nothing from the school. So I wasn't really caring about money. Then the next year, NIL first started being a thing, but Vanderbilt was just doing it. They would just want to cover your school. You weren't getting extra money. Then the year after that, that's when we started getting paid, paid way better. And I never like asked for money, but like Corbs kind of called me and told me that he's offering me this money. But I think he offered me some money just because he knew that like I wasn't a guy that was going to leave no matter what. Like if I was playing, if I wasn't playing, like because going to Team USA, like all the guys up there, there's a bunch of coaches up there. They were basically recruiting. Like I was getting recruited by other coaches to try to
Yeah.
leave, try to get me to leave to go to that school, but they were offering me a lot of money. But I wanted to stay at Vanderbilt because that's where I started at. That's where I wanted to finish at, and
Yeah.
that was home for me. So there was no like extra negotiating I would have to do to kind of leave from Vanderbilt. But I feel like a lot of people do hit the transfer portal when they don't play right away. But I feel like if you're at a place like Vanderbilt, like and you don't play your first year, like I wouldn't transfer just because you can get to the MLB from having one good year in the SEC. Like they don't have to, you go to summer ball one year, have a good year, then you play that next year in the SEC. Like you can get drafted pretty high. So it's one of those things where if I didn't play my freshman year, I still would have stayed just because no matter if I was going to get paid from another school, just because I was getting better because I was around great talent. Because like I say this a lot to a lot of the high school guys that go to college, like
Mhm.
if you're in college and you can't beat out your competition, when you get to professional, you're not gonna be able to move up levels if you're not better than the guy next to you. So it's one of those things where like you practice in college competition, so you get to the ML like minor leagues, you get to the MLB quicker because you know how to kind of beat your competition or learn how to at least try to kind of compete, and not everything's not handed to you, pretty much.
RJ, we talked earlier about we mentioned earlier I did about your highlight reel. You watched that 2025 highlight reel. Alex, Dez, you both can attest to this. We're seeing all tools on display in there. We see defense, we see speed, we see power with the bat, we see hitting for contact. It's all there. What would you consider your most valuable tool when you play the game?
I feel like I'm a game changer. It's kind of like it's not like a five tool. That's not your typical five tools, but I feel like I'm just a game changer because I can change the game with my glove, with my bat, with my speed. Whether I'm disrupting the pitcher, still in the base, if I hit a backside double, or if I take away a home run or take away some hits on defense. So it's like I feel like I'm just a game changer because if my bat's not working, my defense always gonna be there.
For
If my
sure.
defense kind of shaky, I'm gonna hit. If I'm not hitting, I can bunt, steal some bases, like do something to change the game. And I'm one of the best teammates that there are out there, just because I want the best for my teammates, and I want everybody. I want the stadium to feel the energy that I play with, because I want that around me. So I exert energy that I want other people to kind of feel. So it's one of those things where I'm just a game changer, whether I'm playing well or if I'm not. So I feel that's kind of my best tool.
Now,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. Now, coming up through this minority baseball prospects, being a part of the inaugural portion of the movement, um, how was that experience
So
impactful to you? What did you pull from that experience?
it was super impactful because I remember the first MVP thing I seen was those rankings that came out during COVID.
Yeah, for sure.
I remember that. So I was like, okay, MVP takeover. They kind of know ball. Like, I saw a lot of good players on there. That was a good list. And I just thought it was a great outlet for minority baseball players to kind of come together and to kind of like, see that there's a lot of us that play the game, and kind of like, showing each other like, hey, like we're going to be in the league. Hey, you're going to be in the league. Like we're going to change how the MLB doesn't have a lot of black players. Like we're going to change that, and kind of like putting our heads together to kind of see what we need to do, what type of work we need to put in to kind of, change that. And I feel like MVP kind of let us be ourselves without, perfect game. You gotta do all the media stuff. You gotta do all the extra like politics stuff that goes with that. But MVP, like they real, like they let you be you. And if you can play, they're gonna let you know that you can play, and they're gonna have those events for you to let you, show your talent. So I feel like MVP kind of helped a lot of minority baseball players, and that I know for me, like being in minority baseball events kind of made me feel at home all the time, and feel welcome, and feel like make me feel like let my ego kind of like be out there. So I really love MVP events, and I was able to play with all my best friends in those events. So it's a lot of fun doing that for sure.
No, again, man, we appreciate you for coming down. Like I tell everybody when I go into these pitch meetings, if it's we got a pitch meeting with McDonald's tomorrow and stuff, I always talk about that first year, it was COVID. Man, I ain't gonna, it was the heart of COVID, man. And we brought you guys to Mobile, Alabama, and Hank Aaron, man, but nobody got sick. And when I walked into our first meeting, I think we was in a doggone in a bull junk little room.
Yeah.
CC was there, Andrew Jones was there, and y'all guys were just having a good time, man.
Yeah.
Michael Braswell playing. I remember Michael Braswell playing doggone ping pong, trying to beat everybody.
That's Christian Moore. Christian Moore was in that first group.
Christian Moore was in that group, man. It was just special, man. So again, I can't thank you and Tamar and Drew and all those guys enough, man, for believing in the brand. And now, we're one of the biggest in the world, man. So again, we appreciate it. Wanted to really talk about utility, bro. What, like I said, if you look at our old MVP high school showdown highlights, you was pitching too. How important was it what we've been trying to do to grow the game of baseball and get more guys to pitch and be utility? And you're a big reference for us. At Vandy, you were playing first base too, man, as a freshman, just to get on the field. How important was it for you to be a utility guy that can do everything to get you on the field when you was at Vandy?
So I was always a guy that could play everywhere, but when I never played outfield until I got to Team USA, my senior year. They were like, "Yo, what positions can you play?" And I was like, "Shit!" Like I wasn't the top guy. Like I wasn't gonna be a starter every day. So I was like, I can play literally anywhere.
What you
they're
need
like,
to play?
Out there, like, you play outfield? I was like, yeah, I played outfield like all the time during high school season. Like I was lying, but it's like I wanted to be on the field. So I grabbed Drew had an extra outfield glove. I grabbed his glove, went out there, and I was out there playing pretty much every day. Then the pitching side, like I pitched because I used to be mad that we used to lose games because like I would hit good, then we would lose because the pitching would be bad. So I was like, if I do both, then I can't really complain if the pitching's bad.
For sure.
So growing up, that's why I started pitching. Then I never took a pitching lesson. Like I've always like gone out there and just thrown. But I got up to 94 throwing in high school, so I was a pretty good pitcher. At like a .6 ERA during like perfect game events and stuff like that. So I feel like I just wanted a way to be on the field every day. So I feel like pitching. That's why I did that, because I wanted to be out there every day. Even if I didn't hit well, then like I said, for USA, I tried to make a spot on the team. So I told them I could play outfield, even though I never played outfield before. But I was able to make it look like I at least played out there a couple times. Then when I got to college, I was able to, touch the field my freshman year because I played. They put me at third base, then moved me to second base. Next year, moved to first, then moved to second, and I was in center field, left, right. Then my last year, I was just center field only. So I just wanted to be on the field, and that kind of helped me become into the utility player I am today.
So how do you prepare to do that, to perform at a high level at all of those positions? Like, what did practices look like for you at Vanderbilt?
Yeah, so starting the off season, honestly, like remember when they first told me they made me make an outfield glove, infield glove, and a first base glove when I first got in my freshman year. So me and my dad in the off season, I would have him hit me ground balls at third, short, second, and first. Yeah. I'll take fly balls to center, right, and left. So I'll be out there for like 3 hours, just kind of
training at every
position, and just taking equal reps at each position. But and for the outfield portion, like I played first base my sophomore year, so when they told me I was playing center field, I was like, how basically, but I knew like I had to do something. So the defensive back coach at Vanderbilt, I worked with him twice a week during like all fall and winter, working on some
feet work. That's something new that we probably never would have guessed, but
so I did that twice a week, kind of working on like having efficient routes like a DB does, pretty much efficient routes, having better footwork, and being more explosive. So working with him kind of helped me out a lot. And that idea came from my dad, because I asked him like, what should I do, because they want me to play center field this year. Then he had me do all these drills and stuff like that. And in my everyday routine, like we just implemented, doing football drills so I can feel like an athlete out there and just, being a free athlete with great footwork. So that helped me becoming a Gold Glove center fielder out there. So that I feel like that's what kind of helped me really become good out there.
I'm glad you said that, because a lot of kids that we come across at these showcases, we will have 50 guys lined up at shortstop, and we say, hey, for the showcase game, why don't you play second or you play third this inning? Oh no, coach, I'm a shortstop.
Yeah.
We come across guys at every event that's just so stuck on playing first base, or they can't play left field for an inning. No, let's do what we gotta do to get on the field. Let's showcase.
Right.
So I'm so
Yeah.
glad you said that.
Yeah, for sure. 'Cause
RJ,
I feel like
now,
I feel like oh, you got it. Yeah.
Go ahead,
go
RJ.
ahead. Go ahead.
I feel like a lot of people like lose that thing where like well, they don't know until they get to college, and it's like
right.
the coach say like, hey, like our shortstop is a first round
Yeah.
round pick, so
Yeah.
you're not a shortstop no more.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people don't experience that until they get to college or professional baseball. So when they get in that situation, they're stuck, and they kind of like that's kind of when they lose
Gotta
it.
figure it out now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like if people got to start there early, so it won't be any mix-ups or anything when they get in college, and they know how to get on the field.
RJ, now this wouldn't be the Extra Innings podcast if we didn't have a little mess on here. And I tell you what, we got Dez. Dez carried a pretty big bat when he was swinging that thing. And
He know. RJ knows.
And Alex
RJ knows.
That's a baseball player sitting over there on your screen with that
RJ knows.
RJ, talk to me about what you would do. Let's just stay on your 94 mile per hour in high school.
Man, stop.
How many pitches is it going to take for you to strike out Coach Alex when he come up to plate against you?
3. Like,
what you giving him? What you giving him?
I'm going first pitch off speed. I know you're not swinging at that first pitch. I'm going to go fastball in that same exact spot. Then I'm going to go slide it in the dirt. You're going to chase, strike out. Like it.
Oh.
Did we play you at Redan? Were you there when I played at Redan?
When y'all played as a Redan,
Yeah.
I didn't pitch.
Did y'all win?
No, but
all right, man.
it's because I wasn't on the mound.
That may be so.
And I
I
kept
tell
getting
you
walked.
this, Shep, it's gonna take more than 3 pitches to get me out.
RJ,
You know that.
same question.
It's gonna take more than 3.
Coach Dez, RJ, how you getting them out? How many pitches?
You know it's gonna
What's
take
your
more than
sequence?
3.
What's your sequence?
Just because he's saying more than 3, I'm gonna give him 4 because I'm gonna throw a pitch just randomly away that he's not gonna swing at. Then I'm gonna just strike him out the next pitch just for fun.
Man, stop. So now,
Man,
real quick
right
though,
there.
he does know
Alex?
that his uncle Joe Austin was my trainer coming up. So we grew up in that Cascade Adams Park area. So I actually saw RJ running around the park all as a youngster. So he's definitely telling the truth about that. So
No, for sure. RJ, probably the most important year is, either in college or in high school is that draft year. One, how much pressure was on that junior year? Like I tell people, that junior year freaking important, bro, especially in college, because you go from making money that junior year, they can go from top 3 rounds to your senior year. You got to take what they give you, right? How much pressure was on that senior year for you? And how did that year go when we talk about draft? Because this is a different year, right? Freshman and sophomore year, like I tell people, scouts are year to year, man. They ain't got a big enough database to keep up with guys who's not going to get drafted this year. So it was a different concentration on you your junior year because you were draft eligible. Tell us a little bit about that year and how did you handle that pressure? And like I say, you was Gold Glove and had a great year in the SEC. But how did that year go for you just every day doing house visits, having scouts call you? I know Corbin having meetings about scouts or, pre-practice and things like that, and they really horning in on what you're going to be.
So I experienced all of like the scouts being at the practices and games in high school.
Yeah.
Because they were like high school, there was all the games, especially when we were playing like Tamar and Drew, like all the scouts really there. Yeah. So I was used to playing in front of scouts, so that wasn't anything. Then Vanderbilt does a great job of like they have like all the teams come to the school. So all the team, like all 30 teams, they come in and you get to. Well, they don't meet with everybody, obviously, but I was blessed to be met with everybody my junior year. So they did that during the fall. Then I'll have like scouts call me, but I never answer my phone really like that. Like I'm a hard person to get a hold of because I be busy. I be all over the place. So I didn't really take many calls. During the season, I didn't take any calls at all. But during that fall time, I was able to talk to some teams and kind of get like kind of a introduction on what they wanted to see out of me, and all the teams said the same thing. They said, we want to see you play center field. I want to see you play a good center field. So, I mean, I felt like that's what I did. And I struggled offensively in the middle of the year. But I was going through some injuries, hurt my shoulder, and hurt my hand, but nobody knew that I was hurt because I was going out there every day because I wanted to win. I wanted to play. Like I wasn't really worried about a draft. I could have easily just sat out and been like, hey, like I'm waiting till I'm healthy to go out there and play, so I won't, play bad. But it was like the competitive nature in me. I didn't want to come out no matter what. So, I went through that struggle, but that kind of I didn't really struggle because scouts were watching. I struggled just because battled with some injury.
Yeah.
But at the end of the year, I was able to turn it around and really pick it up where I left off at the beginning of the year when I got more healthy. So it's one of those things where the pressure was never there. It was just I was playing for the team. I wasn't playing for what round I was getting drafted, what team I was going to get drafted to. I was just playing for the team, staying in the moment because I feel like a lot of high school kids like that you have to fall into it because you're gonna look online, you're gonna see where you're ranked at. Then
Yeah.
you're gonna be like, oh, I gotta go higher than that so I can get paid more or whatever. And you got people, everybody tell you how good you are,
Yeah.
this and that. So you try to live up to that hype that everybody's kind of talking you up to. So it's kind of hard to not really like, fall into it. But I felt like I did a great job of not falling into the draft talk. Especially during the season. Like if anybody mentioned anything, we had this going joke in the locker room that nobody can mention anything about the draft because that's not what we do at Vanderbilt. We play for the team, not for the draft.
No, that's big. Being at Vandy, my last question for the day after, until we talk about, your camp, that I have, how big, you're probably the best character guy we've had out of, we deal with 30,000, 40,000 kids a year. Um, but how big was character? You done seen, some of the top players in the country play at Vandy and around it. How big was character? Like I say, you're a plus character guy. How big was character that you see that translate to success in the SEC, and be successful in the college rank again? Because you see transition from some guys you had your freshman year that didn't make it, some guys that wasn't successful. Different things went on time. How big is character you feel in being successful in the game of baseball?
I feel like character is the biggest thing in baseball because a lot of people have talent, but it's that character that's gonna take you to the next level. And I feel like for me, Courts, he preached that every single day in the classroom sessions we had. He preached character. He preached how to be a good teammate. He preached how to be a good brother, in the future be a good husband, good dad, and stuff like that. How to be a good son to your mom. So I feel like I really took that into consideration in everything I did. So whenever I'm around everybody, like I want to show my personality. I want to be nice to everybody and really like make everybody feel the like how blessed I feel. I want everybody to feel that when they're in my presence. So it's one of those things where like my character's always going to be good just because like I'm rooted in faith, and that kind of helps me be happy every day. And Corb's always talked about being a positive positive team factor guy, because there's a lot of negatives that can take you from that, but it's like you have to show up the same every single day, like no matter if you're going up through a breakup with your girl or something, or you're mad at stuff that's going on at home, like you have to show up to the field the same way. So I feel like even though days that I didn't feel like showing up to the field, like I had to fake it till I make it. So
For
I feel
sure.
like me doing that every day at Vanderbilt and Corbs teaching that to us every day, that kind of changed my life. Then older guys that were there, like the Rike Bradfields, whatever, that were there my freshman year, that were older guys that are about to get drafted and leave and stuff like that. They kind of taught me the ways of doing that. So Vanderbilt just does a great job of having the older guys kind of show the younger guys the ropes of everything.
For sure. For sure.
Now,
Last thing on the baseball tip, hitting is the most important thing in baseball at the end of the day. SEC is the most competitive, system of baseball and college baseball. How did you get through? I know high school we have 40 at bats, 50. You know what I mean?
Mm.
What was the difference when you get to college and one you facing better competition? And like you said, it's the first half of the season, it's a middle, and it's an end. So you may be hot at the beginning, and you may struggle in the middle, and you might got to get hot, or you might not get a chance to doggone you might start out cold and coach in core. We got bad playing the card. I got to put somebody else in. How did you manage one facing SEC pitching, but also managing the whole season of trying to be consistent?
Yeah, so I was blessed to like be able to play a lot in high school, especially my last year summer ball. Like I feel like I played every day. because we played that school season from February to, May.
Yeah.
Then that next week we was at East Cobb, playing all the way through kind of that next end of the fall. Then you got the USA stuff, all the fall like East Coast Pro event. So I feel like I played like around 80, 100 games then. So, you know, going to college, it was a difference, but like wasn't a huge difference playing games wise, but it's like I couldn't wear all my emotions on my sleeve like I did in high school, pretty much. I feel like in high school, if I got out, I'd be pissed. If I had a great game, like I'd be riding the highs, but I feel like Corbs kind of taught me well before we even started the season that I can't ride my highs or ride my lows too low. So I feel like you're gonna have those weeks where you think nobody can get you out. Then you're gonna have those weeks that next week where you feel like anybody that goes up there can throw anything and you're out. So it's one of those things where like I couldn't ride my highs too high and ride my lows too low. Then this year's gonna be my first year playing like 130 games. So it's like, going from 60 games to 130 games, that's double the size
Yeah.
of games. But I was able to get my first, taste of pro ball and playing every day, for like a month. So I kind of know how it goes, but I didn't struggle too much up there. I had one like struggling week, but wasn't anything. But I feel like me struggling at Vanderbilt my freshman and a little bit my junior year kind of prepared me for what I'm gonna face struggle in professional ball because it's gonna happen. Like that's why nobody hits 500, 400 MLB. They all hit
Yeah.
250, 300. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's not guys that gonna be that high, but the best guys that hit the best, they don't ride their highs too high, their lows too low. So it's like come the same to the park every single day.
For sure.
You talked about getting ready for like that first full year of pro ball. What are some things that you're focusing on in this off season to get yourself ready for that?
So I thought the biggest thing I kind of worked on is controlling my environment. So, challenging myself. The new hitting coach at Vanderbilt, he's with the Guardians in the past. So he knows what professional baseball is supposed to look like. So, I'm hitting machines that throwing marv balls that rod crazy and sliders, lefty, righty, whatever, cutting, doing all the nasty stuff. Because I used to train and just hit front toss and throw off an arm and BP, then call it a day. But now I'm really challenging myself, similar to a game. And I'm a guy that in practice, like if I take one bad swing, I'm gonna get pissed off. But now I'm really at a point where I'm like, I kind of got to mimic it like a game. Like if I take a bad swing, like let me get to the next pitch. You know what I mean? Like let me take another one. Let me really get to the next pitch. Let me step out, reset, like the same I would in the game, and not just like doing the same thing all over and over again. Then that's not gonna help me when I get to a real game. They're throwing different pitches and trying to mess up my timing. So it's like one of those things. Challenging myself in practice. That's gonna help me playing pro ball. And every day I'm doing mobility on my body because I'm trying to, play a full season because you play.
Last year.
Yeah, because there's not many people that can play a full season. And if I can play a full season healthy, at close to 100%, then I can get called up quicker because I know what type of talent I am. So it's one of those things where like I'm taking care of my body more than ever.
Oh,
RJ, RJ, you the mere mention of your name drove my 8th graders and my 7th graders crazy today at middle school practice. All of them immediately start talking about their experience at your camp. Your giving back is a huge part of who you are. What motivates that and motivates you to do the giving back and what really drives the essence of your camps?
Yeah, so like I started in COVID during COVID. I just wanted to do something to. I was bored in the house. I wanted to get out and do something baseball. And my mom kind of threw the idea out there to work with some kids, who are less fortunate, or just work with some kids that want to play baseball. Show them that because I was committed to Vanderbilt at this time. I wanted to show them like, hey, like I can do it, you can do it, pretty much, because there's not a lot of us playing baseball in the professional. So I wanted to show everybody kind of like that minority baseball players can make it. So I started that camp and I want to say 2021, and it was just the best thing ever. Then every year is just climbed up, and now I'm in year 6. I went from having 15 people at my first camp, and I had 150 to 200 people at this last one. So it's just a crazy experience for me because I want to give back because Breakthrough Series kind of, taught me that. MVP taught me that. RBI, like all those events kind of, molded me when I was younger. It made me love the game more. That I wanted to give that back to the youth and kind of show them what I was shown when I was younger, and kind of be the outlet for younger kids growing up who want to be in the MLB, but they don't see a lot of us doing it. So I want to show them that it's real. So I feel like that's what drives me every day to do that, and I just genuinely care for other people and genuinely want the best for everybody, and especially giving back to the city of Atlanta because that's where I'm from. So I want to show everybody that they can do it too.
No, that was big, man. We came out to your camp, helped cover the camp a little bit this year, man. You just didn't have 200 kids there. You had 200 talented minority kids, man. In all race, nobody excluded, man. But you had a big group of great minority players that were very talented, man, out there, man. So kudos. Like I tell players, do it while you're hot, and while you're playing, man. So that kids can, like he said, like Shep said, his kids went crazy because they all went to the camp. So they're like, oh, it's RJ. You're the celebrities. They don't really get a chance to see. Well, you had Lawrence Butler there, you had Drew Jones, and those guys, but they don't get a chance to see Acuna and those guys. They might not get a chance to go to the games, but they get a chance to see you that's a superhero. My last thing I want you to talk about is, you was on the dean list. You're gonna graduate next year from Vandy. Talk about really just that education piece and how much it meant to you, and how important the education piece is. Vandy is a top 20 school in the country. How important was that education piece was for you, and that you will graduate next year, even though that you'll be in the big leagues in the next 2 years? How important was that education piece for you?
Yeah, so education was huge for me, because I could play baseball only until I'm about 4 years old at the oldest. So it's like, what I'm gonna do after that, and you never know what happens with injury or a team. They just never call you up, or you never know what's gonna happen. You might lose the love of baseball. So I encourage every kid to stay in school and keep doing school. I know baseball comes first. You want baseball to come first, but at the end of the day, like the academics is damn near the same as important, or even more important at the end of the day, because you got to have a job after baseball. It's a fun sport while you do it. Then afterwards, when you're done, you're gonna be reminiscing, and all the money that you kind of probably throw away because you're trying to live that lifestyle of a professional athlete. That's gonna go away. But I learned that from my dad. My dad, he was drafted in the NFL, played in the NFL, but tore his ACL. So he wasn't the same. He never got his ACL all the way back right. So he got released, and he kind of scrambled. He didn't know what he wanted to do afterwards. So I feel like me going back to school while I'm still playing and finishing up, I won't have to worry about that when I'm done. So I feel like that's kind of like the biggest reason why I'm doing that. And I want to have a great job after baseball. So, and someday I want to be on TV, like Harold Reynolds, how he does it, like that or something like that. So I feel like if I have a Vanderbilt resume and degree in my back pocket, I can just pull that out and be like, hey, like, on the Vanderbilt for communication studies and sociology, like, can I be on TV? And I feel like they can't deny me once I show them that.
No, for sure.
That's right. We're gonna be here to help you out. We're here to help you out through it and cheer for you the whole way through. RJ, before we close everything up, tell the audience where they can find you this year. We know you're drafted by the Baltimore Orioles. Where will you be starting off things? Where can we turn on that TV and see you playing a month from now?
Yeah, so I'll be in spring training in Sarasota, Florida. So definitely can watch me in some of those spring training games for sure. I'm being Delmarva, that's the low A. Then Frederick Keys, that's where High A is. Then Double A, Bowie, Maryland. Then you got Norfolk. Then you got obviously Baltimore. But yeah, that's where I'm gonna be at, and hopefully I can get up there pretty quick to Baltimore. But I know it's a process, and I'm just gonna enjoy the process and play my style of baseball and go out there and try to win us some games.
You are locked into the Extra Innings Podcast presented by Minority Baseball Prospects. We've reached the bottom of the last inning right here, and we appreciate RJ Austin for coming in and giving us the walk-off to get the victory in this one right here. Alex, how you feel about RJ on this show right here? Did he walk it off for us?
Hey, man, had to get one of my favorite All-Americans, man, on our second episode, man. We appreciate you, RJ, man. Now, I think he hit a triple right center, walked it off, man. Man was on second, man.
Man was on second. He got Dez. What you say?
Hey, good luck, RJ, man. You know I'm proud of you. Keep holding it down for us, man. We definitely rooting for you. Appreciate what you're doing, man. Keep holding it down for the folk, baby.
For sure. Appreciate y'all.
RJ, we definitely appreciate you coming out, man. We want to make sure that we get you back on the show, especially once the spring training has started. You've had a chance to get a week under your belt. We want to get you back in on the show, talk about that experience. We're going to do our part and get the fanatics crazy about you. We're going to have all the kids going crazy. So the next time you step into an MVP event, you're going to know, you're going to feel the electricity. It's going to be palpable. And, man, we wish you the best of everything going into this upcoming season, man. And we have every bit of faith that you are going to do extraordinary things in Major League Baseball, extraordinary things. Once again, this has been Minority Prospects Extra Innings Podcast. I'm Mike Shepard. Thank Alex White, Coach Dez, RJ Austin for joining us. You'll be able to check us out for the next one right here on MPTV on your favorite YouTube site. Anything else, you can catch us on social medias, MVP Takeover on Instagram, Facebook. We're right there. If you want to see the best in minority baseball, then you don't have to look any further than right here. Visit the store, get the swag, and we will see you the next time in Extra Innings.
For sure.